On the disc that you have, that is our presentation at the State Economic Development Conference, the first part of it speaks to education pathways, then it speaks to industry clusters, which Frank and John are very interested in, so getting supply chains right, getting the right employees, and then it speaks to how we build out business sectors in this community. And clearly, that's one of the manifestations that winning communities will have it, because the common ingredient across all those are the individuals that go through the system. So I'm going to tell you, as a staff member of this organization, to sit back and listen and tell the story, I wish they would have done it for the chamber. It would have been maybe been a little different, but it's great. It's great to see this advocacy, because you can't fool the street. You just can't fool the street. Short story: I was driving into the parking lot this morning for our board meeting, and there's a parking attendant out there, and she said, "Are you here for that physics thing?" And I says, "Yeah." And she says, "Well, there's that foreigner that came in front of you. He's from the Ukraine, and so am I." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm just enthralled with this concept, because physics talks about how the world works." And she looked at me and she says, "It's also how God works." And I think Andy and Kim would agree with that, because you got to make sense of all this. Why are we here? What are we doing? How does it work? So all of a sudden, I think we're on a mighty big rocket. I was telling Ed, without an airplane attached to it, we're just going now. But I think it's absolutely right for this country, and this can be fixed without throwing money at it. It's a structural fix. It's an intellectual fix, and the kids love it. You only have to go visit Andre's school or Andy's or Kim. And speaking of Corpus Christi, it's my pleasure to ask Kim Schindler to come up, who's the principal of Corpus Christi.
Thank you, Dave. What an opportunity this is to share the joy of See the Change at Corpus Christi. I did tell Kathleen as we were coming in, Kathleen, 5 minutes? I could speak for hours on See the Change and the great things that are happening at Corpus Christi as a result of this program. So I wanted to tell you just real quickly about our journey, or my journey. I actually came to Corpus Christi 3 years ago. This is my 3rd year as the only administrator in our school, which I think is important to have understanding of. It's a very diverse environment where there's a lot of interaction and a lot of wonderful opportunities. We have a fantastic school advisory council, and as Andy mentioned a moment ago, the individuals that serve on this team have been very strategic in their purpose and looking for ways to help our children grow. So as a fellow educator, a fellow teacher in the classroom, I taught 1st through 4th grade. My last experience as a teacher was in a science and math focused school. So I took that experience and I looked at the way that our children were thinking in that particular environment. And in coming to Corpus Christi, I looked at what was happening in our science and math focused areas, our science and math curriculum. And I saw that our children were not being prepared the way that our students were that I had experienced previously. And so the first initiative that we took as a school was to find an amazing science and physics teacher to run our middle school program. So I would like to introduce Maxine Hennessy. She is our physics teacher. And I will tell you, there is a lot of joy. I mean, when you walk into Maxine's classroom, it is unbelievably joyful. She has such energy and such passion for science, and our kids love it. Our kids love it. So as we looked at this piece, we knew, and we looked at the research. If I told you the background of Maxine, you would be amazed. But she takes those experiences that she's had in her own life and shared that with our children. So as we continue to look, as Andy and Peter also looked at ways that we can help our students grow, we were presented with the opportunity to come to Carmel Middle School and encounter the students that were there. And as Dr. Spencer said just a few minutes ago, they are on fire. They are excited and they are passionate about learning science in all of these different functions. And we were absolutely intrigued. And so as an opportunity for our school, we looked at it and said, we're a very poor Catholic school. I mean, you know, there is that whole piece. We don't receive federal funding. We don't receive state funding. We have to support our school. And so, one of the pieces that we looked at is let's look how we can partner in making this opportunity happen for our kids. So I have great appreciation to all of you because you made this a possibility for our students. And I want to offer my sincerest gratitude from all of the parents and the students that are encountering See the Change. As I mentioned a moment ago, I could talk about See the Change for hours. When people come into our school and they say, what is this? What are you doing? I simply have them walk into our middle school classrooms, or let me rephrase this, walk down the hall of our middle school, because the experience that our students are having is hands-on, right in the middle of the hallway. And the energy and joy and love that they now have for science is tangible. You can touch it, you can feel it as you walk into the classroom. And the other really cool piece of this whole thing is that our fifth graders are like, when do I get to do this? So it's really a really beautiful thing. But as I prepared for our discussion today, one of the things that I did was go back to our teachers. I sat down with Maxine and I sat down with our science teacher, Miss Annalisa Degenhardt, and I said, what are you really seeing? We implemented See the Change in February, so we haven't been experiencing the program for a continual amount of time. But one of the things that we are so amazed with is, once again, that love and passion for physics, the love and passion of wanting to learn. But the other piece with this that has been so amazing is that our students are now asking and understanding that higher level thinking type questioning. I have to share this piece. Maxine showed me the science test, or the physics test that they just took this last week. And it was great because one of our social studies teachers came in and she said, I don't know some of that on that test. And it was one of the sixth graders' tests, kind of speaking to what Anatoly was talking about. So as we look at that whole piece, our kids are now able to communicate in such a way that they are asking higher level thinking questions and they are able to answer those higher level thinking questions. We were sitting at last night with my own daughter, and I do have the blessing of having two 8th graders that are experiencing this. And it brought me to tears when we discussed this once before, but my own two 8th graders are having the opportunity to experience this program. And we were sitting there watching TV last night, and one of my daughters, who has not necessarily been very engaged in that science and math focus, she goes, Mom, did you see that simple machine that just was on TV? I'm like, yes, I saw it. They're everywhere, And so that to be said, I have great appreciation as an educator, as the principal of Corpus Christi Catholic School, to team with See the Change, and for your dedication in making sure that our students are able to grow. And as Dr. Spencer said just a few minutes ago, Corpus Christi, we want to have the opportunity to welcome each of you to come in. We were so excited. We still have the opportunity to have a couple of individuals that are going to be visiting our school. But I would encourage you, come and see what's happening with these guys. They are engaged, they are excited, and if we can continue to help grow that passion, they are going to be successful, and they will in turn make a change, see the change. So anyway, thank you all for being here today and for the opportunity to be here as well.